the TokyoBill Weekly Update, an end-of-week news brief on events in and around Japan. Today is November 16th, 2024. A follow-up to a recent story. Princess Akiko returned from Britain on Saturday due to her grandmother's recent condition. 101-year-old Princess Mikasa, widow of Prince Mikasa, is in deteriorating condition. She was hospitalized in March for a stroke and pneumonia, currently being treated in a private room since September. Recent tests showed declines in heart and kidney functions. Princess Mikasa is the oldest living member of the imperial household since the late 19th century. The Imperial Household Agency states that Princess Mikasa is conscious, but her deteriorating health is apparently of concern to the family. A police officer investigating a drug offense in Tochigi Prefecture left behind a notepad containing personal details of 46 people at a suspect's house. The notepad included information such as addresses, occupations, dates of birth, and telephone numbers. The suspect found the notepad, and images from it were shared on social media. The suspect was later arrested for violating the Stimulants Control Act and for embezzlement of lost property, a charge he denies. The police department apologized for the leak of personal information and stated they would take measures to prevent a recurrence, such as refraining from taking unnecessary notepads to crime scenes. The United Kingdom, Japan, and Italy have approved the Next Generation Global Combat Air Program, CGAP, potentially unveiling the world's second sixth-generation aircraft. The program merges the Tempest and FX fighter programs of the UK and Japan, respectively, with plans to establish the GCAP International Government Organization. The GCAP aims to develop cutting-edge technology to enhance defense capabilities against rivals like China, Russia, and North Korea. Industry partners are already working on platforms and technologies, including unmanned adjuncts, advanced sensors, cloud computing, and artificial intelligence. The GCAP's program future was unclear until a meeting last week, where the British Prime Minister approved development. Global warming appears to be having an impact on Japan's ski and snowboard industry. Temperature and humidity changes affect snow crystal formation and quality, with resorts in northern Japan experiencing lesser snowfall and poorer quality snow, a trend noticed since the 1960s. In 2023, 7 resorts went bankrupt due to a lack of snow, others postponing opening dates. Olympic ski jumping medalist Sara Takanashi lamented that skiing may become a summer sport if snow continues to decline. Considering that the Beijing Winter Olympics used artificial snow due to a lack of natural snow, skiers may just have to say goodbye to natural conditions. Japanese automakers are importing vehicles from India to sell in their home market due to lower labor costs, with Suzuki Motor recently starting to sell its India-made SUV in Japan. The model is competitively priced and comes with safety functions expected by Japanese drivers. Previous attempts with a compact car in Japan ended due to slow sales, but this time Suzuki believes the SUV will be accepted in Japan. Since March this year, Honda Motor has been selling a small SUV made in India in Japan, both companies benefiting financially from lower labor costs and sourcing more parts locally in India. Last week, the Republic of Korea Navy, ROKN, Joint Training Task Group visited the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Forces Yokosuka base with 3 ships, including the Dokdo-class amphibious assault ship ROKS Marado. Japan's Defense Minister, Gen Nakatani, attended the arrival ceremony, marking the first time a Japanese defense minister boarded a South Korean warship. This visit symbolizes an improvement in bilateral relations, which had deteriorated since a 2018 targeting incident. The current interaction between the two navies reflects closer cooperation in addressing regional security challenges. This week is also a busy week in naval news. On Monday, the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force minesweeper, JS Ukushima, capsized due to an engine room fire, with one crew member missing. Efforts to contain the fire on the Ukushima were unsuccessful, leading to the current search by divers for the missing crew member. The incident occurred during a joint mine warfare exercise with the U.S. Navy. Meanwhile, the Russian Navy also completed drills with the Indonesian Navy before possibly moving to the South China Sea. Elsewhere, in a first, a Russian Yasen-class cruise missile submarine was sighted 80 kilometers off of Hokkaido. Crystal Palace Football Club are investigating reports of racist abuse towards Daichi Kamada during a match against Fulham. The Japan midfielder was verbally abused by spectators at Selhurst Park after receiving a red card for a challenge. The club has a zero-tolerance policy towards abuse and will take strong action against the perpetrator. Kamada, who joined Palace from Lazio in the summer, has struggled to make an impact. He will miss the next 3 games due to the red card. Palace are currently 18th in the Premier League standings. A company in Japan discovered thousands of so-called phantom coins, rare ceramic currency believed to have been destroyed after World War II. Shofu Inc., a dental equipment manufacturer contracted to make the coins, found 15 wooden boxes in a warehouse in Kyoto in August 2023. These coins were mass-produced in July 1945 during World War II, but were never issued and were destroyed instead, giving them their name. Mint officials discovered over 500,000 of these coins in the boxes, totaling about 15 million in existence. The finding is considered extremely rare, and officials plan to study them further for a better understanding of the currency at the end of World War II. A Chinese national was arrested for scamming a 71-year-old woman in Japan out of 809 million yen in a social media-based investment scam. The woman, a company executive in Ibaraki Prefecture, was lured into the scheme through a fake line messaging app account impersonating Japanese economic analyst Takuro Morinaga. The scammer, Wen Jiolin, is suspected of coordinating cash couriers. The woman transferred a total of 799 million yen over 47 transactions to the scammers after being persuaded to invest by someone claiming to be the analyst's assistant. Wen is believed to have conspired with others to deceive the woman and directed cash couriers to collect money from her in person. Japan's nuclear watchdog has determined that a reactor in central Japan failed to pass a safety review required for restart, marking the first instance of such a case since the Fukushima nuclear crisis in 2011. The decision was based on concerns that an active fault lies underneath the offline number 2 reactor at the Tsuruga plant operated by Japan Atomic Power. In quake-prone Japan, building facilities above faults is prohibited. Of the 35 reactors nationwide, 27 have applied for safety reviews and 17 have been approved. The decision comes after Japan revamped its regulatory system in response to the Fukushima disaster. On Wednesday, 65-year-old American tourist Steve Hayes was arrested for vandalizing a torii gate at Meiji Jingu Shrine in Tokyo. Dedicated to Emperor Meiji, it is one of Japan's most visited shrines. He apparently carved the name of one of his family into the gate with his fingernails, claiming it was just for fun. The police used security camera footage to track him to his hotel, and he admitted to the charges. The incident is one of a number of recent vandalism cases at various shrines in Tokyo, including graffiti and urination. In another incident, a Chilean social media influencer faced backlash for performing a pull-up on a shrine gate. Needless to say, Japanese citizens have been unimpressed with the disrespect these visitors have shown to their culture. Major Japanese supermarket chain Seiyu began selling Taiwanese rice brand Musubi no Sato due to soaring rice prices in Japan. The Japonica rice is about 20% cheaper than domestically harvested varieties, but closely resembles the flavor and texture of Japan-grown rice. Priced at nearly 2,800 yen for 5 kilograms, the product is available at 138 department stores in East Japan. Prices of domestic rice remain high, prompting Seiyu to offer a more affordable option for customers. The decision to sell Taiwanese rice was made in response to the serious rice shortage in Japan. A musical gathering was held to pray for the return of Megumi Yokota, who was abducted by North Korean agents 47 years ago Friday. The event took place at Niigata Elementary School, where Megumi graduated. Megumi's former classmates played a piece by Vivaldi, and a student of the school performed a song she composed, urging people to empathize with the victims of abductions and their families. Megumi's mother, Sakie Yokota, joined the event by phone and expressed gratitude for the support. She also expressed hope that Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba would work to repatriating the abductees. 3 individuals, including Meiji University law professor Ken Suzuki, filed a lawsuit against the Japanese government, alleging unfair restriction by the courts. During separate trials, the plaintiffs had attempted to sit in on proceedings but were required to cover certain patterns and writings on their clothing prior to entering. Plaintiffs questioned the legitimacy of such actions by judges using so-called court police powers to maintain order. The lawsuit seeks 3.3 million yen in compensation. The plaintiffs argue that their clothing items did not, in fact, disrupt courtroom proceedings, and that the insistence on covering up constituted an illegal exercise of public authority. Professor Suzuki highlighted inconsistencies in courtroom practices and called for clear standards in enforcing such restrictions. Japan has ranked a record low of 92nd in the 2024 English Proficiency Ranking out of 116 countries and regions where English is not the native language. The ranking is the lowest on record, indicating stagnant English proficiency among younger people in Japan compared to other countries. The EF English Proficiency Index is based on tests taken by 2.1 million people in 2023, with Japan scoring 5 places lower than the previous year. The decline in Japan's ranking has been consistent since 2011, with a decrease in motivation due to the pandemic being one possible reason. An advisory panel to UNESCO has recommended adding Japan's traditional knowledge and skills for making sake and shochu distilled spirits to its intangible cultural heritage list. Once formally adopted in December, this would make Japan's 23rd entry on the list. Traditional sake brewing involves fermenting rice using a type of mold known as koji. The move has been welcomed by industry members with hopes that it will draw attention to traditional drinks and production methods. The Japanese government had also nominated sake making for the UNESCO listing in 2022, following previous listings of no and kabuki performing arts and washoku traditional cuisine. Other intangible cultural heritage proposals are planned for future consideration. That brings us to the end of news items for the week ending November 16th. These stories and more you can read at theTokyoBill.com. I've been, and remain, Tokyo Bill. Thank you for listening, and take care.